in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Central and Western Nebraska, this one's for you. On March 7th, Love Nebraska brings the pro game to the Heartland Events Center in Grand Island for a 7 p.m. showdown with Love Salt Lake, presented by FNBO. No long drive, no watching from afar, just live action in your backyard, featuring powerful serves, high-flying attacks, and the kind of intensity that builds with every rally. This is your chance to experience Nebraska volleyball up close as the entire state comes together for one big night. Get your tickets now at lovneb.com/tickets.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
There's no place like McKinney's Irish Pub for St. Patrick's Day, so mark your calendars to join in on the fun for their 12th annual Street Festival. The party goes all weekend long, but starts on March 14th and 15th with tons of giveaways, great Irish food, and green beer. And it continues on Tuesday the 17th for actual St. Patrick's Day. Doors open for the bar at 9 a.m. on Saturday, 11 a.m. on Sunday, and 9 a.m. on Tuesday. And the street party starts at 2 p.m. all 3 days. Don't miss out on great music and great fun with no cover charge for St. Patrick's Day weekend at McKinney's Irish Pub, located at 8th and P.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Hey everyone, this is Austin Orman from Old School with Foreman and Orman, live from 1040 O Street in the heart of downtown Lincoln, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. My favorite thing about downtown Lincoln has to be the year-round energy. Downtown Lincoln never stops. It's easy to get to, has everything you could need or want in dining, entertainment, and retail, and of course it has Lincoln's best sports talk, proudly located in downtown Lincoln on the corner of 11th and O.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket sports news go now.
This is Nick Wyman with your sports update. After a win over USC on Saturday, the Nebraska men's basketball team is in action tonight against UCLA. With a victory over the Bruins, the Cornhuskers will clinch a triple bye in the Big Ten basketball tournament next week. Tip-off between Nebraska and UCLA is scheduled for 10 p.m. Central Time and can be seen on FS1. While Nebraska baseball played in their first home game today against Omaha, the Nebraska softball team has their home opener this week as well. The Cornhuskers softball team matches up with South Dakota State for a doubleheader on Thursday, March 5th, with first pitch of those games scheduled for 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. at Bowlin Stadium. Nebraska volleyball will make its Sanford Pentagon debut in April with a spring match against Iowa State. The Huskers are coming off a 33-1 season and their third straight Big Ten championship with a perfect 20-0 conference record. First serve during this match between the Cornhuskers and the Cyclones is scheduled for 1 p.m. on April 11th in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Nebraska volleyball spring schedule also includes a match against Creighton in Omaha on April 17th. And for all the latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here at 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped and picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Hour 1 of Old School is sponsored by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in Old School on this Tuesday, March 3rd of the year 2026. Nick Wyman filling in for Austin Orman. Austin still down in sunny California. I assume it's sunny. I've seen some pictures of what he's been out and about doing as he gears up to cover a late night game. Well, late night over here, but 8 o'clock there in California. Nick Wyman here alongside Jay Foreman here on Old School today. Jay, it feels, 24 hours ago, we were just here talking about Nebraska basketball, but here we are. And Austin's gearing up for Austin was the original plan was he was going to chime in. However, he said the traffic's pretty insane. Going from Nebraska, Lincoln, Borden, you think the traffic sometimes here is bad, but you go to California, I can't imagine how overwhelming that feeling is, especially if you've never been in that situation before.
You ever been to LA?
No, I've never been. I've been to Florida and Chicago, but I've never been.
Chicago's probably right on par with LA and traffic. I mean, it's horrible.
It's just, he was saying like it's awful to get from destination to destination. I can't imagine Austin. Austin's obviously been out and about. He went to Arizona, so he had a little bit of practice on the West Coast, but a little bit. It's a little different beast compared to the rest of them. But yeah, Chicago, I remember a little bit before it. I was in high school at the time, and I just remember there's so many people and whatnot and everywhere and whatnot. So good luck to Austin. He's going to be there tonight, and I will be here until midnight, past midnight actually, for post game, because that's just how basketball works. And it's a late tip, and that's how it's going to go. So, Jay, how are you? Are you staying up for the game? How are you?
I'll stay up for the game.
How are you? How are you? Do you have a game plan? Do you have like a nap, or are you just going to go right through it?
I'll power through it, man.
Power through it.
Yeah.
I respect it. Farley was like, "Oh, I might need a nap or whatnot."
No,
I was like, "No, you power through
that'll
it.
mess it up when you want to go back to sleep."
Exactly. You just power through, and then hey, the day is tomorrow. And tomorrow, you got a nice day with state basketball, Nick Sainer and all them. And we had a loaded schedule here on the ticket for sure. With state basketball all the way from 9 o'clock in the morning all the way till sunset. I think what are the last games for tomorrow on that list? What are they? What class?
7:45.
That's a lot of days, but hey, it's a fun time. State basketball is not only 1 week, but you get 2 weeks of it. So should be a fun time. I know Nick's excited for it. I always used to give him a lot of slack saying, "Oh, I don't know how you have a voice after this week," but good for him. He's an animal.
Yeah. Yeah. He powers through it, man. And Nick does a really good job with all the high school sports, football included. Him and Austin, obviously, we're all going to be, pulling our weight for state tournament for girls this week, or boys the next. And then obviously Nick and Austin also do the high school championships as well. They do a really good job. So we appreciate the NSAA for the partnership and allowing us to go down there and be essentially the flagship, obviously, station when it comes to high school sports.
It's awesome to see, and there'll be a lot of fun over the next 4 days, this week and also next week. Old School is brought to you by Graham Tire Company, celebrating 75 years of service in the Midwest. They're more than just tires. They do all kinds of car, light, and truck repairs too, from brakes to oil changes. The Graham Tire service you can count on. Graham Tire, getting you to the places that matter most. Also, hour 1 of Old School is brought to you by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Call today for more information at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. There's a basketball game tonight. Tonight I say, but it's a little later. But hey, it's an important one. Nebraska has a very good chance to clinch a triple bye in the Big Ten tournament. A team that didn't even make the Big Ten tournament a year ago. Now you flash forward 365 days later, Jay, and they have a chance to put themselves not only in a triple bye, but maybe a number 2 seed. Number 1's already locked up, but hey, I mean, that sounds like a great opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get a triple bye, I think they could, really make some hay as far as when they get to the big tournament. But, you can't worry about that until you handle your business. And UCLA is favored at home, coming off of a unlucky loss for them, and then, they're going to try to defend home court. And so Nebraska's got their work cut out for them. They got some really good players, obviously a really good coach and Mick Cronin. And they're, look, it's a blue blood program. And, whether it's Dent or Belletto, Belletto first, obviously, but then Dent, and then you got Clark and Perry and Daly Jr. You got 5 guys in double digits as far as like points per game. So it's a lot like Nebraska where everybody eats, but more importantly, obviously, you got to take away the first option, and obviously, this Belletto.
They're also a very interesting team because they're not a great rebounding team, but they're lengthy. And that's, Nebraska last game, 41-25, the reboundings against a team like USC, and we're able to grab 18 offensive boards in that one. If they can carry that momentum like that and just play their game, because, Fred Hoiberg in that clip says, in the locker room, it's kind of like that with Minnesota game where he's like, play your game, guys. When Nebraska plays their game, they're very tough to beat. And we saw that in the second half this last game. But I think rebounding is kind of the biggest thing. This is a lengthy team. Nebraska's had some troubles against some lengthy teams, but I think Nebraska has stuff to counteract that. We've seen that all year, and this is just another game for them. I think you can control. Obviously, that triple buys chances to clinch that are obviously in the rearview mirror, but you get a really good opportunity just to close out here against a team that really needs a win like this.
Well, I mean, rebounding has always been, how I judge Nebraska. I always say if they can keep the rebound differential in a lot of games 8 or less, they generally win. Worst case scenarios, I've seen them do, win with 12. And so that's that same mindset that they'll need, as they go into, the Iowa game. They gotta control the boards. They play really good defense. Their coverages are really unique and exotic. The more chances you give a team like UCLA at their obviously second chance points and continued momentum, if they ever get any, doesn't bode well for Nebraska. So even though they're on the road, they have a point of emphasis that I'm sure Fred and company is trying to get across to the players, and the players are, got to accept it, and then they got to go execute it. So UCLA isn't like Purdue or Michigan State, especially, trying to crash the boards. But knowing that their best chance of beating Nebraska is trying to get 8 or, in my opinion, 8 or more as far as the rebound differential, see them be a lot more aggressive on the offensive rebounding side for UCLA.
And UCLA is a very interesting team. They have at home, they're a completely different team. I don't know if the ghost of their home arena's past. There's a lot of history with them. 16-1 at home this year. Only loss came to Indiana in overtime. But other than that, they've beaten Purdue there the last second shot. They went coast to coast on Illinois. Donovan Dent in overtime to beat Illinois at the time, who was top 10 at that moment. And then you look at them when they go on the road. They're a much different team. They've gotten blown out by Michigan and Michigan State up in East Lansing and Ann Arbor. Then they lose this past weekend in Minnesota. It's a tale of two teams. But when they're playing in the West Coast and on their home floor, they're a really good basketball team. And that's a little scary, but I trust Nebraska's process and what they've been able to do.
Yeah, I mean, they showed it after they got blitzed, like you said, against Michigan State, and then they've generally played well at home, as they should. Right. And you got to expect the crowd will probably be into it. A little bit late start out there in Cali. So, you'll get a pretty full house there, but that's only going to take you so far. I think when Nebraska comes in and can play like they did in the second half and the first half of this game, they can really, really stifle this UCLA offense. Even though they have 5 guys averaging double digits at times, they've looked anemic on offense as far as being able to, kind of be a well-oiled machine. Nebraska provides that type of test for them on the defensive side. Also, they played just 2 days ago. So prep for Nebraska, you're behind a day. You get what I'm saying? Where Nebraska's out there already. You got to travel all the way back, get acclimated again, school, practice, you're behind. So it sets up well for Nebraska with 2 games left to pull this off and then get the triple bye and then obviously beat Iowa at home just for good measure.
It's in the odd situation where the road team is acclimated to a road contest. They're in California, in Los Angeles already, and they went to that NBA game, saw Tyronn Lue and Bryce McGowan, and then UCLA has to make the trip all the way back.
Yeah.
So it's a very, unique situation. How many teams have done that all this year? I mean, there's close travel or whatnot, but you're pretty much in the same exact town. Los Angeles, obviously kind of an outlier town compared to a lot of where you can go. But
well, the campuses are close together. Look, it's a blessing to have Bryce McGowan's and obviously 2 alumni, playing in the game. Obviously, Tyronn Lue is coaching and Bryce is playing. So that makes it a lot easier. And also, I think it bodes well for Nebraska to play USC first versus UCLA first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
I
so
don't
too.
think when you play USC would affect the outcome. I think Nebraska wins both. But you get to play USC first while you're still trying to get acclimated legs-wise and intensity, and then you wake up at halftime.
Then
then you hit it. So now you're out there, you're used to it. So your jet lag or whatever you want to call it, shouldn't come into being a factor.
And last year they went 2-0 on the road in the Pacific Northwest, and they have a chance to do it here and to get a win against not only USC, which they did, and then clap it off with UCLA. And if they can win 2, get that triple bye, I mean, the Iowa game is the Iowa game. It matters in a sense because every game matters, but you already have kind of that triple bye potentially, maybe getting the 2 spot. I mean, 2 spots still up for grabs then too. So it's just the next game.
Because Michigan State plays, and obviously, Michigan State's thinking they can come in the back door and get it. So I mean, I think the Iowa game, Iowa's a good team. Obviously, you played better, but don't try to equate Iowa basketball to Iowa football. Like,
yeah,
we'll find ways to lose. No, that game that they played up at Iowa City was a rock fight between both of them. It was like 52-50 or whatever the score.
57-52, but yes.
So it wasn't a offensive clinic. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the way Iowa has to play against a team like Nebraska, but Nebraska be more prepared for it this time and will be at home. So I view the Iowa game as close to a double-digit victory.
And you also have Senior Day, Sam Hoiberg's final game. Final game. That's got to be. You might see some tears in the crowd from some fans. Sam Hoiberg playing his final game.
Sure, why not? I mean, he's a great kid. Obviously, his dad's a great coach, and he's your identity of your program. Not only is he came from a role player to a starter, but then he's exceeded expectations and flourished in that position. So he's a legit Big Ten starting guard. And you can take that game anywhere. And people appreciate, or at least around here, people appreciate hard work and guys that make plays and do the dirty jobs. And then more importantly, be one of the best teammates that anybody could have.
Yeah, you don't really hear a lot of bad things about him. Kind of just a quiet guy, puts his head down, and is able to just do it all. 402-464-565, the Star Heyman Julius text line. Interesting question here from Gus Mohawk. He says, random question. What year was Creighton's best basketball team ever? And would that team be able to beat the best Nebraska team, basically? He was debating with a coworker. That's an interesting question. You really put it into perspective. I mean, obviously, it'd probably be like Doug McDermott. I mean, then again, the team that Baylor Shireman then went to the Elite Eight a couple years ago.
Probably that game. Oh, man, when Doug McDermott. Yeah, Doug
McDermott was, I mean, he was just unstoppable.
Yeah, he was a Gen Z version of Larry Bird.
I mean, they had that ESPN magazine with him on there recreating that. But when he was in college, he could score 30+ any given night, no matter how many guys you have on him.
He was a joy to watch. That's probably the best, those two in recent history.
Yeah, we'd have to go back, but those are probably the Creighton.
I mean,
teams.
Creighton is, did you know Benoit Benjamin went to Creighton?
No.
You don't even know who Benoit Benjamin is.
I do not know who Benoit Benjamin is.
Benoit Benjamin was in every card pack known to man.
Really?
And you'd get him every time. That lets you know he wasn't a very good player. I didn't realize that. Benoit, I always liked him because he had that funny name. His name was Benoit.
Benoit?
Yeah. Or is that Benoit?
I was going to say Benoit, like B-E-N.
Benoit Benjamin.
Yeah, it's probably Benoit, but Benoit, I mean, is that how it's pronounced?
I don't know.
I think it was probably Benoit.
I called him Benoit.
Benoit? Hey.
Yeah. my vocab back then when he came was not probably up to snuff. So I'm just going to keep rolling with Benoit.
Hey, is what it is, right?
Until I meet him and say, how you doing, Benoit?
Benoit.
Benoit. And he'll bop me upside the head.
Probably, I mean, maybe not the first time he's heard it. Maybe. I don't know. I when you said Benoit, I was like, that's interesting. How is that spelled? I was like, probably spelled Benoit. Maybe it's like French Canadian or something. I don't know. It's interesting. But yes, this Nebraska game tonight, late game. This is a game where they can just take, I don't think there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I think Nebraska has been able to win games in many different facets. Obviously, you mentioned the rock fight against Iowa. That's kind of an outlier. That was just Iowa. And Iowa, to give them credit, they played some really good ball that night. Yeah. Was it pretty on offense at times? No, but they were able to stop everything, get a hand in somebody's face. Nebraska wasn't hitting their shots at all. Nebraska was shooting 21% from the three-point line, but they were able to just limit Nebraska. And Nebraska's been down, double digits at half in some games. And most recently, Maryland, they were down in that one, not double digits, but they were down at half and came back and plethora of scoring in a 4 to 8 minute stretch. And all of a sudden, Nebraska up double figures. We saw it on Saturday against USC. Nebraska's down 5, 36-31. USC hit some tough shots. Nebraska scores 51 in the second half and just explodes and wins by double digits. We've seen it multiple different times. And there's a part where I'm just sitting there and, Nebraska's down 5 or 6 points. I'm not really worried. I trust the process, what this team has been able to do and make those kind of halftime adjustments. I think Fred Hoiberg is one of the best at doing that. I mean, we've seen it this year, especially making those halftime adjustments, getting the team to just come out there.
I mean, really the game is full of adjustments. I mean, halftime you get a little bit more time. Everybody saw the video in there, and the biggest adjustment is he was essentially challenging the guys to wake up and play their type brand of basketball. Yeah. Really didn't have to make wholesale changes, and everybody falls in love with the word adjustment, especially in football, and rightfully so. But generally, it's as you're going along, over 4 timeouts, very first, or under 5, and whatever the next one, you're constantly taking evaluation and bringing in information. So you're making those adjustments probably more in the present time versus the halftime. But I think Fred's a really good coach because he's able to do that in game, which means when, say like timeouts and then he's able to do it more at halftime. But if you see this stuff, the synergy and chemistry between the coaching staff, all of his, assistants is phenomenal. So it doesn't have to be Fred delivering the message because whoever is obviously delivering the message, they're giving the ultimate respect. So the communication lines are crystal clear. So when you're making adjustments at halftime or whenever, they're working like gangbusters.
And you just have a deeper guys. Fred is the coach, but you have a plethora of guys who are, voices are being heard and what being said. When you left yesterday, so DP Field, and we talked about Connor Esigen's kind of impact. His, guy, gets hurt. Yeah. That stinks. You want to be out there with your guys. Early too. Everyone was talking about beginning of the year when he goes down. It's like, what's going to happen here? Yeah. We've seen time and time again injuries derail seasons, and seeing him go down, he hasn't missed a step being on the bench. He's being the best teammate he can be, doing what he can, and
that's all you can do. And hope for a medical red shirt next year if he doesn't have any eligibility left. But I think when he got hurt, then you saw the emergence of Braden Frager, and so that's one of the bright spots off it if there ever was. But the ability to be a good teammate is something that doesn't show up in star rankings or anything like that. All those guys seem like they're really good teammates. Even the guys that probably aren't playing as much as they like Blue and those guys that kind of transferred in, they're invested as well. When you watch them in the huddle, they're not looking around trying to get somebody to notice them on like TikTok or Instagram.
Yes,
while they're supposed to be paying attention. I think their environment is probably worth at the end of the year for Nebraska. It's probably worth the environment that they created in the locker room, or you want to use culture or whatever you want to call it. Probably is about 2 or 3 wins, maybe 4 wins that allowed the team to win. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the environment is really good.
Ben in the chat says he's worried about the scoring droughts if they show up in tourney time. There's still time to fix that. That's what the beauty of March is. You have 2 more games here. You have the Big Ten tournament, and it's happened at times. Well, they have time.
Yeah, but in the tournament, you're going to be playing good teams that are going to have plenty of time to prepare for you.
And they know everything about you.
There will be resistance.
Mm-hmm.
How you react to that resistance is more important than the original resistance, because how you act towards it or afterward will tell you more things than not. I mean, so the scoring drought is probably more self-inflicted versus somebody else is doing, but you got to give them credit that teams are coming up with schemes and little tidbits to kind of slow down this offense and players. But I think the scoring drought, once these guys get cranked up and really, really are backed as one, because they're still trying to get healthy, and if Rink gets going, and then they really get their starters and everything going, they'll be more than just fine. We won't be talking about a scoring drought.
And good teams, we've seen championship teams have faced adversity in March. Look at Florida last year. Florida, they were the cardiac Gators most of the time. They had so many games that came down to the wire, and they had to make big shots down. Did they play perfect? No. But they ended up on top at the end. That's just the beauty of March. The good teams face adversity.
Yeah.
You name any championship team, they've been able to. There's been a scare for them at some time, and then people kind of doubt them, and then they always answer the call. And that's what this Nebraska basketball team has been. I'm not saying they're going to win a championship, but I'm saying they've been able to show signs of a team that's going to fight to the end and be able to find a way. And that's just what Nebraska's been able to do.
Yeah, I mean that's what you want. I mean, it's basketball is a very I call it like a very aesthetically pleasing game when you watch it. But that doesn't mean that you can't devil in the process of figuring it out and still be pleased with the end result. Because, I think Nebraska will win. Now, is it going to satisfy everybody that's in Huskerland? Probably not. Even if Nebraska won a national championship, it would be there would be somebody pushing back on them being national champion. So it's part of the business, part of what you signed up for. I think these guys that go out there and handle their business and be just fine.
What do you think are some keys for Nebraska tonight? What do you think, like 3 keys to the game tonight? 10 o'clock tip, FS1. Obviously, post-game coverage will be here around midnight here on 93.7 Ticket. What are some keys you think for Nebraska?
I think one of the biggest keys is obviously, keep the turnovers low first and second half, especially in the first 4 minutes on the first half and the second half. I think Nebraska's ability to shoot the 3 when needed needs to show its head today, because I think if you're trying to get to the rack, they'll block a couple shots, right? So let's try to open up the inside game by the threes, and then by number 3, my third point probably would be who's the Robin to our Batman.
Yeah,
and get them going. This might be a game where Demarcus Lawrence comes right back to life. Might be Sam Hoiberg continue to be one of the most efficient players in the Big Ten. Or a game like, where Burkhead or anybody like that can get busy for long periods of time will really help.
10 o'clock tonight, so if you're in the capital city, you got to stay up. But last thing before we go to break, Eric says, my man Jay Foreman, working on a Tuesday. Hey, it's an hour show today. Lincoln Stars are after. Jay stopped by. Hey, he said yesterday, he's like, I'll make it down. And he did. Promises made and promises delivered.
That's
Jay
right,
Foreman.
Eric. I just wanted to see one of your texts.
Yep, and there it was.
Yeah.
And he, like clockwork, 3:25-ish, he's right on it. I'm starting to learn some things about this show, and Eric is a staple, I guess.
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
We're going to go to break, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
Hey everyone, this is Austin Orman from Old School with Foreman and Orman, live from 1040 O Street in the heart of downtown Lincoln, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. My favorite thing about downtown Lincoln has to be the year-round energy. Downtown Lincoln never stops. It's easy to get to, has everything you could need or want in dining, entertainment, and retail, and of course it has Lincoln's best sports talk, proudly located in downtown Lincoln on the corner of 11th and O.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Hey guys, it's Nick Sainer. Join me and the rest of the 93.7 The Ticket crew as we bring you live coverage of the 2026 NSAA Girls State Basketball Tournament from Pinnacle Bank Arena. The action tips off Wednesday, March 4th. If it's being played at Pinnacle Bank Arena, it's heard on the ticket. Class A to Class D2 all week long. Join us March 4th through March 7th as we crown 6 state champions from the 2026 NSAA Girls State Basketball Tournament right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's seafood season at Amigos. Time to get that one-of-a-kind crisp crab rangoon burrito and dip it in some sweet chili sauce. There's a crab rangoon Frenchie too. Enjoy grilled fish, grilled shrimp, or crispy fish tacos, wrapped in warm whole wheat tortillas, topped with pico de gallo, cabbage, and Amigos Chipotle mayo sauce. From jumbo shrimp baskets or fish and chips to fish tacos, there's something for everyone. You'll love the bold, fresh flavors of seafood at Amigos. Amigos is serving up a brand new way to score the bold, fresh flavors you love with 8 affordable value meals. At $5 and $6, these meals are easy on the wallet, so treat yourself anytime. Sink into the new 3-cheese melt or taco melt, both stacked with crave-worthy flavor in every bite. There's crunchy taquito dippers, too, perfect for dunking in Amigos' famous ranch or spicy cheese. Big flavor, small price. Value meals at Amigos.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Spring is the time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. There's no place like McKinney's Irish Pub for St. Patrick's Day, so mark your calendars to join in on the fun for their 12th annual Street Festival. The party goes all weekend long, but starts on March 14th and 15th with tons of giveaways, great Irish food, and green beer. And it continues on Tuesday the 17th for actual St. Patrick's Day. Doors open for the bar at 9 a.m. on Saturday, 11 a.m. on Sunday, and 9 a.m. on Tuesday. And the street party starts at 2 p.m. all 3 days. Don't miss out on great music and great fun with no cover charge for St. Patrick's Day weekend at McKinney's Irish Pub, located at 8th and P.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, Old School. Nick Wyman filling in for Austin Orman alongside Jay Foreman here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. If you're watching on Facebook, X, YouTube, or Outlet Channel, nice and fun. Truly appreciate you. 402-464-5685. That is 402-464-5685. During the break, we had some news. Well, happened about a half an hour ago, but per Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport and a lot of other media outlets, the Cardinals have informed quarterback Kyler Murray that they intend to release him on the first day of the league new year next Wednesday, March 11th, barring a trade between now and then. Arizona already owes him $36.8 million guaranteed in 2026, and another $19.5 million would have triggered on March 15th for 2027. He will now be moving on from his time with the Arizona Cardinals franchise. Kind of a move that people were thinking was going to happen. However, it's kind of unbelievable that it happened and how quickly it happened.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like the Cardinals had a franchise quarterback. Looked like a match made in heaven with Cliff Kingsbury, and that seemed to subside very quickly. I think Kyler Murray got a little bit over his skis, lost focus. Obviously, he was a big gamer on the video games instead of getting on the video machine looking at his tape. And then he got hurt. Kingsbury's left, or let go. New coach comes in. You had to reprove yourself or continue to prove yourself. And, getting towards the end of that contract. And, he had already re-upped because you remember originally he scrubbed the Cardinals on his social media. Like that, how petty is that? But salary cap number is high. You got a new coach, a new era.
Mm-hmm.
That's what usually happens.
Yeah. And you look at his resume. I mean, first year, 2019, played all 16 games. 2020 played all 16. Had that Hail Mary to DeAndre Hopkins that game against the Bills. Obviously had that one. Pro Bowler in 2020, 2021. And then after that, only playing 14 games in 2021 happens. He only plays 11 games in 2022, 8 games in 2023. Plays all the games last year. And then this year, only 5 games for the Cardinals. So you saw kind of the production kind of go down. He was his best when Cliff Kingsbury was there. It was just kind of, like you said, it was a match made in heaven when that guy was there calling the plays and whatnot and having him under center.
Yeah, only 5 games because of injury. I think you saw some maturation or maturity from him in the last 2 years. I mean, totally, even, in front of the camera and by his actions. And I think he started to become or was working towards being a, more well-rounded quarterback instead of trying to take that spread offense, run around, throw it, a la shorter version of Johnny Manziel to the NFL. And so, look, I'm sure he's healthy right now. He'll get a chance to get, linked up with a team that's going to allow him to compete for his starting spot. He has a lot of starter experience. He's still very young in this quarterback thing. And he's still a really good player. He just, he needs to get in the right situation. And the Cardinals, which is a little odd, they are either going to go with Jacoby Brissett, try to trade for either a free agent or a present-day quarterback, or you're just going to roll the dice and think that Simpson's going to be there from Alabama.
Yeah.
Because Mendoza's probably going number 1. There's, according to everybody that's covering the NFL Combine and the future draft, that the only other quarterback potentially going into the first round is Simpson. So unless that changes, that's where they're at.
The Cardinals hold the number 3 pick as well in the draft, but obviously they're not going to take quarterback that high, especially in this class. On the text line here, 5162 says, why announce you're cutting a player when you're still wanting to work out a potential trade? Because it happens.
I mean, well, it's the worst kept secret out there because I've been through this. When the team tells you can seek a trade, everybody in the league will just wait till they cut you. Kyler Murray is coming off an injury. Quarterback position is something that always gets paid the premium amount, but ultimately, when you do that, you're trying to get somebody to come in and swoop them up if there's going to be a lot of demand for a player or a position. Otherwise, it's just a matter of time. And so teams do that, just to do it. It's kind of an exercise, but ultimately, if they're doing the right thing by the player, they're not announcing it because it will increase his value.
Our man Eric back on the text line says, Jacoby Brissett isn't where he is at. As a Colts fan, I witnessed it firsthand. But still, I mean, he's a reliable veteran quarterback you can lean on in a quarterback-needy league.
He's the pigmentation version of Ryan Fitzpatrick. Come in, show you a couple good games, and then he'll have that one game.
Yeah.
Where he throws 4 picks and for like 105 yards on like 38 attempts. And then you're like, this is why he's not a true bona fide franchise quarterback.
And then he'll flip around on a Thursday night and throw 5 touchdowns.
Then he'll come back on like 2 days rest, and then he'll play Sunday night and then play Thursday, and he'll throw for like 448 yards. But above all that, he's a great teammate. So he has job security. Okay with being a backup quarterback. You're helping the younger players, and then obviously somebody that's drafted or free agency ahead of you. Longevity there for him. That's where he's at right now.
Where do you think some of the spots for Kyler Murray? Because if he does get released, that's a huge quarterback on the market all of a sudden. There's a lot of quarterback needy
Pittsburgh
teams.
for sure.
Even with Aaron Rodgers potentially maybe coming back.
Yeah, I mean, no, if Aaron Rodgers comes back, it's not happening.
Yeah.
The Raiders, I think he could go well. I would say Carolina, but no.
They got Bryce Young for sure, and they made the playoffs this last year.
He could go down to Atlanta because they don't really believe in Michael Penix.
That'd be an interesting one because they had Kirk Cousins in there, and then
but they have a really good, nice package of wide receivers, tight ends, and obviously running backs, skill position guys. And Kyler Murray gives you a little bit of an extra on as far as running the ball with his ability to escape the pocket.
Virginia Pirate throws out the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, he's a starting quarterback. I mean, he's not some scrub. So if you're getting the best version of Kyler Murray, that's probably got hopefully a big chip on his shoulder based on being released by the Cardinals. You're going to get a good player.
The quarterback needed league. We've seen it. Not the quarterback plays, and like Kevin, you don't have guys like Ben Roethlisberger and Phillip Rivers and Matt Ryan and whatnot. It's just what it is. Also in quarterback news, we can shift gears. The Colts placed Daniel Jones on a transition tag, which is only the second team ever to use a transition tag on a quarterback. The first one was Jeff George back in 1996. So you got to go.
That's when he went to the Vikings.
Falcons.
Yeah.
So a transition tag. It's basically a way to keep them, but gives Daniel Jones or said quarterback an opportunity to sign an offer sheet with another team, and Indianapolis would have to match. So it's a franchise tag, but then other teams still can bid for you.
It's a soft franchise tag,
essentially,
and it's a different money. And I think he's in the transition part because he got injured last year. So they didn't want him to walk. I think they have a good idea what the progress as far as the injury and the rehab is. And, they put the transition on him because they want to be compensated if they decide they're too cheap to keep him.
It's an interesting time. Austin Norman's not here to give an opinion on a Colts quarterback situation, but hopefully I'm curious what he thinks about it because Anthony Richardson wants out. Daniel Jones is coming off injury. You're kind of stuck. And you're in a division where
it's winnable still for them. But you better be better. In that AFC South.
And you have a good offensive line, you have a good running back, your defense is solid. You just need a quarterback. And you've seen it. They've been a team that's been just nabbing veterans. Yeah. Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan over the years. And now
Phillip Rivers.
Well, twice Phillip Rivers. Yeah. Before that and then that. So the Kyler Murray one's interesting. Another team I was sitting like the Jets. The Jets are in desperation for a quarterback and some stability. They had it with Aaron Rodgers, but clearly that whole thing was just a disaster from
very beginning.
The Bear, there was no saving grace for that.
No.
After
and you got Justin Fields now, and you had about 3 offensive coordinators in a year. We'll see what happens. And so Kyler Murray goes out there. He has to handle the business part first, and seeing who's going to be coaching or what type of offense. But then if he gets there and he's comfortable and definitely motivated, you got Garrett Wilson up there and a couple other guys at the skill position. In that skill position group that can perform on a big stage. Kyler Murray would definitely be an option if you're not completely sold on Justin Fields, because this draft only has 2 quarterbacks that are right now first-round picks or thought to be first-round picks. Everybody else are decent, but they're not better than Kyler Murray.
Do you think the Cardinals could have, they're going to, I think more than likely it's going to be Jacoby Brissett, like we said.
But they could be in the Malik Willis sweepstakes.
I also thought maybe they take a chance on like a guy, 3rd round, 4th round rookie quarterback, and maybe sit him behind Jacoby and learn and see what happens. Because you don't have to be a 1st round pick to play in the NFL. Like look at Dak Prescott, he's
4th
round pick.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts wasn't a 1st round pick. Brock Purdy was the last pick. Yeah. You don't have to go 1st round to be, you made it. You're starting right away.
Yeah.
If you sit behind Jacoby Brissett, that's not even the worst situation. That's a really good situation, especially for like a guy like Garrett Nussmeier or something like that, Drew Aller or whatnot, for a guy like that to sit behind a guy like that.
Yeah, you get to sit behind him, learn from him, but then also don't follow his actions. I think he's probably, I don't know, I wouldn't even say that. I mean, I would just think you just sit behind some of those guys and learn and then try to still compete, versus sitting back, watching and chilling and wasting the whole year. You know what I mean? So,
it's interesting because you want to be out there, but you're also competing for a job, but you're also teammates with this guy. I mean, we saw with the Giants last year. Giants had Russell Wilson, they had Jameis Winston, and then they had Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
And Dart, obviously, the whole talk all year was he has to get on the field. He has to get on the field. But you had those 2 veteran quarterbacks from him. Only took about like 5 weeks, and he was on the field.
Yeah, real quick. And the Giants really weren't ever going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You kind of skipped over Jameis Wilson or Winston. He was hurt earlier in that week, and then he got hurt in the game, so it kind of worked itself out. But, the Jackson Dart thing probably needed to happen. Now you're going to see what year 2 looks like, see where he's at, and then you in comparison to some of these guys that are drafted.
Quarterbacks galore. It's crazy. New league year starts next week. There's going to be more that comes out for sure. This is just the beginning.
Well, it's the Sunday. Is that the free tampering period?
I believe so.
Yeah, so that's when you're going to get your ESPN is going and your text message are going to be going off.
It's usually during state basketball as well, because I remember Russell Wilson got traded or whatnot to the Broncos before he left Seattle. That happened, and that was a shock because at the time, Russell Wilson Seattle was a different breed. Obviously, that didn't end well, but hey, that was a big deal at the time.
Yeah.
Now you have this with Kyler Murray. He might land somewhere. Multiple teams are in, and there's a quarterback needy league. Like, it's a league where Sam Darnold was a Super Bowl champion. Sam Darnold was a guy who was cut.
Yeah.
Guy who
By the Jets. Went to Carolina. Then he was out watching.
Sitting
in
back.
San Fran.
Yep.
Goes to Minnesota on a 1-year prove-it deal. And not only does he prove it, he got $50 million to sign, and now he just won a Super Bowl.
So getting cut by a team that drafted you isn't the end-all be-all in the NFL. You have a chance to define yourself. So we're going to wrap up old school here. Lincoln Stars Outside the Box come up next year on 93.7 The Ticket. But Nick Wyman, Jay Foreman will be right back here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
Spring is the time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Let's fly. Your next trip starts at Lincoln Airport with American Airlines. Now flying nonstop service to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Chicago. American Airlines connects Lincoln to major hubs and destinations around the globe. Wherever you're headed, LNK gets you there with new nonstop flights on American Airlines. Now boarding. Convenient, fast, and stress-free. Book your next flight at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
Hey guys, it's Nick Sainer. Join me and the rest of the 93.7 The Ticket crew as we bring you live coverage of the 2026 NSAA Girls State Basketball Tournament from Pinnacle Bank Arena. The action tips off Wednesday, March 4th. If it's being played at Pinnacle Bank Arena, it's heard on The Ticket. Class A to Class D2 all week long. Join us March 4th through March 7th as we crown 6 state champions from the 2026 NSAA Girls State Basketball Tournament right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and right now at Koppel, we are offering big discounts on all of our inventory. 2026 GMC Terrains are leasing at $279 per month or buy for $27,690. 2026 Canyon is leasing for $269 or buy for $40,980. Also right now, all new Equinox EVs and all half-ton trucks are starting at $12,000 off MSRP. These are just a few examples of some of the aggressive pricing going on right now at Koppel. Please stop on in or check us out at koppelcars.com. All leases with $2,500 down with a roof credit.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Old school Nick Wyman in here for Austin Orman, who's down in sunny California for Nebraska, UCLA tonight. 10 o'clock tip-off with post-game coverage to follow around midnight Central Time. Jay Foreman in here as well. Last segment before we go. Tomorrow starts a special day. It is officially March J. NSAA Girls State Basketball Tournament tips off 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Games throughout the day at Pinnacle Bank Arena and Bob Downey. But if you're in Pinnacle Bank Arena and you can't make it, we'll have coverage all day long on 93.7 The Ticket. Nick Sainer will be down there. You'll be down there. Austin Orman, Tristan Gomez. A stacked lineup of games, but also a stacked broadcast booth. I would say, I would say so. Really good.
I mean, it's obviously what high school sports is all about. Every state, whether it's track and field or whatever, but basketball is really, really exciting. I think Class A is up for grabs this year. Same with Class B. You got some really good teams. I mean, the skill for the few years that I've been doing it with Nick, the last 3 or 4 years, the skill has grown tremendously.
And adding a shot clock the last couple of years across the board is added to the level of play.
And then Class C1 and C2 is loaded.
Always is.
So, no, but I mean, this year is going to be special. So I'm excited for this week. I think the young ladies will put on a good performance from, top to bottom in every class. And then it's going to put the pressure on a wide open Class A and Class B, Class C, C1, C2, and D, and so forth for the boys next week. So this is the exciting time for this winter kind of pre-spring sports.
Let's look at tomorrow afternoon. Obviously, first game tomorrow is Dundee County Stratton and Loomis tipping off at 9 o'clock. That'll be the first game that we have coverage on 93.7 Ticket all the way until 7:45. Lincoln Pius the 10th against Beatrice in the 3-6 matchup in Class B. Class B is very interesting because you have Bennington. They're a team that's undefeated. They haven't lost a game yet this year. Conference champions of the EMC, the Eastern Midlands Conference, has teams like Gretna East, Norris, Waverly, and whatnot. Battle-tested group. They're a growing school district. They've kind of always been in that third, fourth best team the last couple of years. They make it to the state, run into
semifinals,
run into a team. They're a team that's the 2 seed. Norris right above them. Norris, another team who's had Scott on the brink last year in the first round, didn't score a field goal in the fourth quarter, ended up losing to the defending and soon to be champions Scott Catholic after Elkhorn North ran the gauntlet for 4 years with Britt Prince. And then you have teams like Pius and Gretna East who are battle tested as well, hanging on the outside. Class B is wide open.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, we were able to see Gretna East have a special group of players. They're all playing like Division I soccer now, but let you know that it's a program because they not only they didn't rebuild, they reloaded. Scott was really, really good, obviously last year, and then Norris is sneaky good, led by Landry Gates and a couple other players, and they battled Bennington a couple times this year, and I think maybe by the schedule strength of schedule, they're the number 1 seed, but it's wide open. I mean, styles make fights. Matchups is key. Pius is always in the mix. I mean, this is, I'm excited for it.
And see upsets like a team like Blair. They haven't been in the state tournament in years. They're in that same conference with Bennington, Gretna East, and Norris. So the record may not be good. They're a lot better than the record
if
shows.
You're battle tested at this point, and you played a pretty good schedule, you might have a couple of L's, and that doesn't mean anything when you need to win 1 game in advance. And that's what you're going to see. They're well coached. It's the hardest game. The first game is always the hardest.
Yes.
And both teams have had a lot of time to prepare. You got nerves. This is the first one. And so you're trying to kind of survive and get through this one. And then you generally see the separation in this next game. But the first game could be plenty of upsets, not because of like some new defensive scheme or coverage or offense, more or less just because of the matchups, but then also it's that first game.
It's also familiarity, like a Norris Blair. They are in the same conference. There's no secrents about the teams. They know every little detail.
You're not picking up any new players by this point of the year. I mean, I don't think the NSAA or whatever, school, whoever makes those decisions, you can't go transfer a portal in high school.
No.
In the middle of the season. So, look, the girls are starting it off this year. There was a great tournament with them last year. A ton of people will be coming in town, so it's good for the local economy. Great to see them all out, PBA and the school spirit. And one of the cool things when you get to small towns, or if they're consolidated, all the people that they bring, and that's the purity of the sport. And I'm excited to be just involved for a little bit.
In those small towns, you get to see them fill, championship day. It's the student section may not be big, but that's the entire town there.
Yeah.
And then you have the band making the trip in, and it's a full spectacle, especially those who never really had a chance to come to Pinnacle Bank. They get a chance, small town kid or whatever. Why not? Harrison's up from a small town, and he always gets excited this time of year. I mean, and it's always, you can listen to all the games on 93.7 The Ticket, as always, starting at 9:00 tomorrow morning, all the way until
about 9:00 at night.
It's electric. If you've ever been, it's fun. I want to talk about last year. Were you there when Barrett Boziger hit the shot in the boys tournament with Norris, the full court shot against Pius? Were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
Crazy moment. That was the only shot that guy hit all game.
Yeah, but that was set up then.
McCoy Folkert's that jumper he hit before that.
Yeah, the real deal McCoy. That's what we call him, the real McCoy. And McCoy's always been a really good player. Norris is a great testament to them. They've been really, really competitive and stayed together since they've been in 4th or 5th grade. And then Bozinger came in and hit the shot of his life, and it was just based off of a great play. And I'm going to tell you, that game that Pius coached in that game plan is probably one of the best coached games I've seen in a long time, no matter what level.
Yeah.
So I want to tip the hat, and then Norris just had a little bit more
free throws down the stretch. You make McCoy hits that shot. I mean, McCoy don't hit that shot, and it's over.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what Bozinger does.
And then it just all fell into place. I mean, the win probability was all over the place in that final minutes. But that's the magic of March.
Yeah,
that is what you sign up for when you're watching the state tournament. So that is all we have for Old School. We're gonna have Outside the Box coming up next with the Lincoln Stars. Jay's gonna get out of here. Austin should be back tomorrow. Cross your fingers. I'm not gonna.
He'll be back at some point.
He'll be back at some point. He's not moving out to California. But Outside the Box, Lincoln Stars coming up next here on 93.7 The Ticket.